Across the continent of Africa, many countries talk about elections. But do these countries know the meaning of elections? Do we talk about elections as a sign of lamentation, but not as a sign of numbers? Do we look at elections as a sign of numbers and we start lamenting of what happened? How far have we gone to correct the mess that elections in Africa have created to our economies? The retarding of all the aspects of social, economic, and political gains that African countries have got. Elections seem to be one of the tearing triggers that has killed this continent. In Kenya 2022, we are preparing, the country is preparing, gearing towards an election. But this election seems to be very weak. The management seems to be weak. The confusion surrounding the election itself is confused. The information is confused. The voters' register is not yet out. They have broken all norms of laws. And as we see today, the Kenya Parliament is not eager to change anything, or it is sitting too late, even postponing the Parliament for 2 weeks because the Speaker is more confused than the Parliament itself. The Speaker of Parliament of Kenya is more confused than the building itself. A humble building that was built in the 1960s to cater for democracy, as a symbol of democracy for the people of Kenya, has turned into the theater of absurd. A theater of absurd where the Speaker and both speakers seem to be, for the first time in the history of Kenya, even under Moi's regime, the speakers never involved themselves while they are in office about declaring where they stand. I think we have a problem here. The IEBC itself in Kenya seem to be in tatters. They are telling us laptops got lost, BVR machines, those that read the election itself, that transmit other results are missing. We are hearing about this only 3 months to the election time. And the people of Kenya seeing this, or it is only me who is Paul teaching or talking to the Gentiles? Paul a Gentile talking to the Jews? Are we having a problem? My letter to the people of Philippi, Paul wrote and said, remember, there might be the worst coming after me. But today, as I speak, the 2022 general elections in Kenya stand in a messy ground that the IEBC itself doesn't know what it wants, when it wants, how it wants. Voter education is minimal. Voter apathy is real and is going to be worse because the people feel they have nothing to choose from. Because when you parade thieves. You put thieves, remove people and put thieves. When you tell people that your party is Mama Mboga and then you don't see any Mama Mboga on the ballot, then you have told a fraudulent lie.
The government of President Uhuru Kenyatta earmarked several dam construction projects under the Big Four flagship projects to boost food production. Food security is one of the critical pillars under the Big Four agenda projects, which the government is currently implementing across the country through multiple supporting infrastructures. Recent completion of the construction of the Eba Dam in central Kenya comes as a big relief to many rice farmers in the expansive.
Every time Africa conducts elections, you hear of African countries calling for donors. And donors coming in, European Union giving money for voter education, verification of voters, materials, voting materials. Some of these projects are done in conjunction with the donor countries. But has the donor become a burden on the economy? Or has the election become a burden on economy? On the economies of African countries? The answer is yes. If you look at most of the African countries, there's no African country that holds election without borrowing money from the donors. Why do we borrow money from the donors, then we refuse accountability? Because we have borrowed their money, you must tell them how much, how far, and how fair, how true, how transparent this election has been. But when it comes to telling the truth of transparency, credibility, openness of an election, African countries, most of them don't want to say fairness, free and fair elections, whether they were conducted freely as per the donors' instructions. What does this do to the economy? An economy like Kenya that has just come out of COVID-19 thanks to President Uhuru Kenyatta steering the country out of COVID-19. We should give him an applause. I saw somewhere that I don't know whether it's a true story, that CNN had selected him as one of the prize winners, the Nobel Prize winner. I don't know, Miriam, you have not checked that story. I don't know whether it is a true story. But I think Uhuru has handled, and I did handle, as far as Kenya's economy. Some of the economies in Africa are reeling from the bad pandemic that took place across the continent. We thank Uhuru for having steered us through this hardship. But then comes an election on top of this after the hardship. Do we pay for these elections ourselves? Yes, partly the money is borrowed. We borrow money. But do we get value for this election? Do we get value? Doesn't it affect our economy? You are borrowing 62 billion shillings to pump into an exercise of 6 hours. Because in Kenya, the climax is 6 hours. The rest of the money is either corruptly eaten by clerical officers, the chairman of these commissions, the managing directors of these commissions, in purchasing the ingredients. One, in purchasing ballot papers, in purchasing BVR machines, in hiring experts for data, so on and so on and so forth. Extra, extra, extra. Is this the election that Africa wants? Yes, elections are good to measure our democracy. But do we need such an expensive election in Africa, really?
Good morning, viewers. Thank you very much. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting all the way from the headquarters in Nairobi. This morning, a chilly morning in Nairobi, and I hope everybody is feeling it. I have been just very much away from the chilly weather, very hot weather down at the coast. But right now, I'm just in the headquarters of Punchline Africa Television together with Miriam Ogutu. Good morning, Miriam.
A very good morning to you and good morning to our viewers.
Yes. Thank you very much, viewers. We have been doing tough politics. We have been speaking politics from Monday, from the day President Uhuru Kenyatta broke the ice for us. And I said, ukweli iwaambiwe. The truth must be said. It is not us, it's the president who said it. And all we do here is we actually, to be honest, we propagate President Uhuru Kenyatta's words that he can't speak, we speak them. If he can't say it. For example, if I were President Uhuru Kenyatta on that day, I would have said the thieves are seated here in Uhuru Park. Africa needs someone to tell someone that you are a thief and stop stealing public funds. You stole the land, you wanted to take the land, you put a nightclub, and you are seated behind here smiling. So, but President Uhuru Kenyatta is a diplomat and the President of the Republic of Kenya. Therefore, he goes slowly on some of the things, not like Mr. Ruto. Good morning, Mr. Ruto. What is going on? You are getting annoyed. Are you becoming broke? So many people are saying you are broke. The money that you used to give these people is not the money you are giving now. Your Excellency, why are you addressing ambassadors the way you did? Maybe you went to school in Mongotio. But if you had gone to school in international areas globally, you would have understood the culture of these white Wazungu, Europeans, Chinese, Americans. You handle them properly. You don't show them you are the annoyed, you are the violent guy. So what Ruto showed yesterday was purely violence. Most of the ambassadors are very senior intelligence officers in their countries. Some of them have served as directors of intelligence systems. They are posted here, so they read through your brain. The ambassadors yesterday, what Ruto did was more like what Idi Amin did when he used to summon ambassadors and threaten them. You don't talk like that, Mr. President, a so-called deputy president. Talk like a man who has got a second slot. You can't threaten ambassadors. Talk to them in a calm language. And you come with figures of 1 million. Miriam have already started. You know, today is Saturday. So if you don't chip in, we might go on and I finish the whole debate.
Today is Friday.
Oh, I was thinking of my Saturday flight, but I can't see it now. Good morning, viewers across the continent of Africa. Ruto was very annoyed. We want to find out why he was annoyed. And let me give way to Miriam to welcome our guest, Javani Karanja from Nanyuki. Legacy man number 1, how are you? Javani Karanja?
Maybe Gladwell.
Okay, Gladwell, our legacy reporter number 1 from Kiambu. How are you?
Good morning to you, Doc. Good morning to you, Miriam. Good morning to our viewers.
I hope you have not started laughing already.
Not yet.
You wait for good laughter is going to come today. There are so many good things. Javani Karanja, are you still there or you are gone, boss?
Yeah, good morning, Dr. David Masanga, Miriam, and Gladwell, and our viewers, wherever they are catching this broadcast from. I'm ready to hear the topics of the day.
It seems you are a very happy man today. You and I, we are on the same page on the question of Kalonzo.
Yeah, so we're happy that the counterparts are, we will not are getting to Kambani. Team Azimio now is a done deal, and as people have pointed out that you're heading to 60% victory is coming to a reality.
Thank you very much. And I believe that people remember my 2 letters that I wrote, and I believe Javan Karanja, you will have a copy and show me at the end of the elections on 11th of August. Will you?
Yeah.
You remember that letter which I wrote that the mountain is very good, but full of potholes of political insanity planted by William Samoei Ruto. So it is better to get the vote which has got all the hallmarks of one basket and add it to Raila, then we go and dismantle the mountain. The mountain seems to be dismantling. You are in Nanyuki. Can you tell us more?
Thank you very much. And as you know,
don't go so deep, just briefly.
I was also of the same idea that the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga should first consolidate his original vote basket, and that is what he did. He has consolidated his allies, and the latest being Kalonzo Musyoka. And by doing so, and coming to Mount Kenya region as an added advantage, is really working on his side, because by picking Madaraka as his running mate, I can tell you for sure things are changing here. And in Mount Kenya region, we have reduced the conversation from Raila Ruto to Rigathi and Madaraka. And we are trying to compare between Rigathi and Madaraka, who has the interest of the people of the mountain. And it's crystal clear that the person who can be trusted, the person who can be entrusted, the person who can be given that mandate to champion for the interest of the people from the mountain is none other but Madaraka. The history is very clear that he has stood for, he was there fighting for the sake of liberation. He has fought for the democracy, the constitution that we enjoy today. Therefore, he is the right person to champion and to safeguard the interest of the mountain. Thank you.
Okay, and I see that the conversation has started. So before we get too much into it, let me just get this out of the way. The headlines this morning from the leading newspapers in the country. We start with the Star newspaper. The main headline, deal that returned Kalonzo to Azimio, the undisputed Ukambani kingpin, will likely bring Raila about 2 million votes in the region. The story is on page 4 and 5. Ruto, 800,000 voters have been deleted from register. That is on page 6. GSU officers open fire on Masimba protesters, killing 4. That is on page 2. The Daily Nation newspaper, the deal Kalonzo brokered. Series of negotiations that brought together the heft of President Kenyatta and Baringo Senator Gideon Moi finally brought the Wiper leader back to the Azimio fold. However, he did not leave the negotiation table empty-handed. The story is on page 4 and 5. Who moved my cheese? Monkey business. In meeting with the European Union diplomats, the Deputy President claims, without providing evidence, that close to 1 million registered voters in areas perceived to be his strongholds have been removed from the Electoral Agency's register, and asks for free and fair presidential contest. The story is on page 7. Single parenthood and the changing face of Kenya family. That is on page 2 and 3, and that is what we have. And then I think that is that. And then on the Standard newspaper, the deal Kalonzo could not resist. That is on page 4. Ethics agency on Crossroads over integrity. That is on page 6. Safaricom eyes digital payments. That is on page 27. Ruto, IEBC clash and rigging claims. That is on page 5. And of course, the main pictorial on the front page of the Standard newspaper is Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka yesterday when they attended a rally together at the Vision Grounds in Mukuru, Kwanjenga in Nairobi yesterday. And just a reminder, we have 67 days to go to the general election. So that is what, Doc, we have on the front pages of Kenya's leading newspapers.
Thank you very much, viewers. Thank you very much, Miriam. We have some good news coming in from Machakos. As a result of Azimio hammering an agreement last night, one of the candidates of Chama cha Uzalendo, who was the chief of staff of President Uhuru Kenyatta, has withdrawn from the Machakos gubernatorial race. Therefore, it gives Wamvinya the first lady to win the Machakos race. Because the competition in Machakos was simply the competition between Wavinya and the other gentleman, what is his name again? My friend, the chief of staff of the president. So thank you very much, my brother. You are headed for a very high ministry among the ministries that Mr. Kalonzo did not work out nicely. You see, there is one problem that Kenyans don't want to listen. There are those who insult, but they don't want to listen. Kalonzo worked out with something concrete, where Tangula and Mudavadi did not. Azimio did not give Wetangula and Mudavadi
Kalonzo.
And Wetangula and Azimio did not give Kalonzo
Condition
that go and bring us 90% of Ukambani. This is why Ruto is angry. He is annoyed. Ruto is feeling. You haven't read my story of 5 a.m. this morning. I sent it to you. Very interesting story. Last week, 2 leaders from Ukambani, from Western, went to pick a plane to go to Western. When they arrived at Wilson Airport, the owner of the plane, whose plane I'm not going to mention, because he hasn't given me permission, but impeccable sources from within there, said he needs cash before they go. So they called the usual guy called Farouk. And this story happened on Thursday morning at 11:25. They were boarding a plane to go to Western. Farouk arrives, tells them, I have no money, and the money is finished for hiring planes. Hey, this guy said, but we don't, how do we go now? Farouk told them, you talk to the boss. The boss arrived later. You heard of the woman for Kandara saying, we are going to campaign only for UDA candidates. Ruto said, I brought you in, but each party is on its own. My Jesus Christ, my royal elders were very upset. The VIP launch at Wilson, I thank my sources. They are beautiful people there. They said the fight is not fighting physically, but the fight of words, exchange of words, made the whole, the staff there get so much scared. So the following day, these guys went back there to have a plane. The owner of the plane said, I'm sorry, the planes are all booked. So as we stand, the troubles start from there. Another story that is making Ruto not happy, because we are already, welcome to the headlines, we're already there, is you see Ruto now, a story like that one is being manufactured. Mudhama is not attending his meetings in Ukambani. The chairman of the party called Mudhama is not attending. Kalonzo is also meeting Mudhama to tell Mudhama that wherever I've gone, in 2007 you brought me to Kivaki. Now I'm bringing you to where there is leadership. Across the bridge there is no leadership. This way, there is leadership. Now, another trouble. If you can you ask Ruto, how did he know these voters were his? How did Ruto know that the deleted names were his voters? It goes to the question that he tried to infiltrate the servers, but he got a problem. There were anti-mechanisms on the server that also blocked him. Chinchiri was blocked. So server kama zinakutana huko juu, they don't open, they burst. Ruto lost. Chinchiri lost. They are more powerful servers. And I told you, if you try to create a server in Kampala, somebody will create several servers in Paris. Matanga could create one somewhere. I don't want to tell you the country, and then Ruto can kill me. But everybody will create a server. So UDA and Ruto think they have servers, that they will penetrate the IEBC. On this one, I'm with Wafula Chebukati. Although I know Wafula Chebukati has faults, I've been telling Kenyans, one of the things that, Mariam, I keep on saying, Kenyans, you people don't listen. For 4 years, I've been telling you, don't allow this man to catch your vote. As a schooler, not as an activist, I wear several hats. I am not an activist just like a Wamutata. I am a schooler. I have known the truth, where they vote, who is going to vote where, voter apathy, voter education. I can explain to you without looking there. I told you, Chebukati will bring you trouble. People, Miriam, several times we have been saying here, now they have reached a point where they are lamenting before Bazungu. Oh, the votes have gone. What do you think is making Ruto to have to lament? The votes have gone. Where have they gone? Let's throw it out to the panel. You can choose the panel. Me, I've opened the worm.
All right.
The worms. Ruto is a very... And before the Karanja and the Gladwell come in, Miriam, yesterday morning, as if there was a vision in me, I wrote a paper. You call these people, then I bring it out. Yesterday, you can call Gladwell as I bring this paper out. In the morning, I wrote in the morning, yes, a day before, yes, I brought the syndrome of Ruto. What is that syndrome? Where you get upset when there is nothing to upset you. And I'm not going to say the usual words that I say now I'm closer here. Miriam will kill me. She will say, why? But I'm telling you, Ruto has a syndrome that is developing, and if Kenyans are not careful, the guy could go under depression.
Mm-hmm. So as you look for that...
it is here. It is here. My yesterday thought, commentary. No, not that one. There is another one here, yes. I write so many things. In the morning, I wrote, yeah, Ruto's disease is called Kubler-Ross grief cycle. Kubler, you can call it Kubler, K-U-B-L-E-R. Kubler, I don't know Kenyans call it what. Your English is very Kubler, but me, British, I'll say Kubler. Kubler-Ross, Kubler-Ross grief. Anybody can Google what Kubler-Ross grief is. Cycle in Kenya Kwanza. You see, the Kubler-Ross theory or Kessler stages. Kessler is key K-E-S-S-E-L-E-R, Kesler. K-E-S-S-L-E-R, Kesler. Stages where of grief, where you begin throwing out insults, uncouth bravado, and the juvenile tantrums are all part of Kubla-Ross grief cycle. Miriam, pronounce it for me. I'm not good at it. Pronunciation. It's called Kubla. Or Kubla. Grief. Uko na signs za bravado. Yupiga watu matopi. Lakini chini iko something. Juvenile tantrums.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you look for it?
I see how they pronounce it here. It has umlauts. Umlauts are those two dots.
Yes.
So that means it's from German.
It's German. It's Kubla. Yes. Kumlaut. It's German. That's why I was running to you. You're a German expert. You look there and I see if I was wrong. Hit it, I had it the same. If I'm wrong, Jesus Christ, watch me. My hands are here. You have saved me so many things.
So the Kubla-Ross model is just another word for the 5 stages of grief.
Yes.
Yes.
I can see Professor Wachikoya is calling live. Professor Wachikoya, just let's break in. Professor Wachikoya, congratulations, my son.
Thank you very much. Thank you and thank you. That's why I have to report to you.
Yeah, you speak louder. You are right all over the whole world now, Professor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. That's why I'm calling you to let you know, to break the news to you from myself.
Yes, thank you very much, son. Keep it going, my brother. We want to thank you so much, Professor Wachikoya. Keep it nice. Try and you get peacefully.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You remember that almost 30 years ago. 35 years ago in London.
Yes.
When I told you that one day one of us will be there first.
Yes.
You remember when we were entering that train from Victoria, from Croydon to Victoria Station?
Yes.
I told you, we shall get that thing one day. But you have gone there first. Try your way, Professor.
Are you somewhere I can see you? I wanted to see you privately.
Okay, I will avail myself later.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm very sorry, viewers, to interrupt a real program. That was Professor Wachikoya. And Professor Wachikoya is my student. He might look, he has too many beards. A big beard, but he is my student. And Miriam, you feel proud when you find somebody in a train. Then I looked at him and he looked at me. In London, I said, were you not in Kenya? When did you come here? He said, I came. Where are you, David? I said, where are you going? And the Professor Wachikoya told me he has a job somewhere in Camden. And that job was not very good for an elder like me to see my son doing that type of job. I want to say it here now to keep his campaign trail nice.
He's actually owned that part of his history. He appreciates when he's
he has appreciated me.
He explains where
and I removed Wachikoya from that job, and this is my son. Even if I have 10 shillings or 10 shillings and I have no food, I will give him. I brought Wachikoya, and the people look at me why God has left me to be here. I removed this Wachikoya from a very bad job and gave him a job in my restaurant and nightclub. I was paying Wachikoya, Miriam, and the listeners 250 pounds per week. But I gave him a condition. 100 goes for school fees. 150 you can enjoy with mama, with our younger children, my grandchildren that were growing. Today, Wachikoya has impressed me. If there's a man who has impressed me, is this guy. And he was cleared. He was cleared yesterday. Those who think that he cannot be cleared, he got his signatures right, he got his papers. When he says he's a professor, people, you see, Miriam, there's a problem here in Kenya and other places. When people say you have started, then they say you hadn't started, you dropped out of school. Look at the things they write about people like me and so on. But when you ask Wachikoya, we were going in the same campus on the separate ways. Here he is today. And someone say, oh, where did he go to school? Rubbish. You cannot know Karl Marx theory in the head and sing it even if the head is upside down when you have not gone to read the tools of analysis. All of you go to school. If you don't know that theory, can you start telling people about it? But Wachikoya has given us a showing. Let's see.
Can you?
The only thing that Miriam we should be happy with, even if his party, even if he doesn't win, I'm telling you, the vision he has opened is to show you that a man can come from nowhere and to tell you that in the world, a revolution has no timetable. Can you listen to me on that one? In the world, if you are in power, mark 2 words, a revolution has no timetable. Those are not even 2 words, they are about 5. 5 words, revolution has no timetable. It comes. You might be here and you say, you go outside, you see people running. You see what has happened, but I left my bag in the house in South Sea. You won't have that bag. You will go as you were. There were students in Ukraine. Some of them left their food burning on the fire. They have never returned to eat that food. So for me as an African, I always tell you, when you visit somewhere and they give you some food, eat it. Don't tell people, I'm coming to eat later, or I'm full, I will eat ahead. No. I've been in Europe for 37 years. I've grown up there, part of my half of my life. If your wife makes breakfast in the morning, eat it. If you're a black man in Britain. And if you have got a good car, a BMW or Range Rover like a Matanga, be careful. As you turn out of the compound in a quiet suburb, police come and wait in the garden here. They are not waiting for anybody else. They have been given intelligence reports that there is a man here, black, who has got 2 Range Rovers, but we don't know where he works. You know, the intelligence of Britain is like that. The intelligence of Britain is next to wall, is on the wall. You think your neighbor doesn't know what you do, he knows. That's how they catch people. We don't have that intelligence here. So thank you very much, viewers, that when you get out, eat food first, because the next food you might eat might be in police station.
Okay, all right. So just starting with one of the topics that you've already looked at and also happens to be the front page of today's Daily Nation. Of course, what DP Ruto said yesterday, it has been captured on page 7. Ruto claims 1 million supporters taken out of voter roll. Deputy President William Ruto yesterday sensationally claimed that close to 1 million registered voters in areas perceived to be his strongholds were removed from the Electoral Commission's register. This, Dr. Ruto said, was part of a wider scheme to rig the August 9th polls. In a meeting with the European Union envoys, the DP asked the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to ensure free and fair elections. We expect that everybody who is concerned, including the EU, to try and get as much details as possible, both from Electoral Commission and these public officials, on what all this is all about and how close to 1 million names disappeared from the register. And many of those names are from what we consider our stronghold. It is a clear contempt to try some monkey games, Dr. Ruto said during the meeting at his official residence. And maybe I'll just pause there for right now. Jevan Karanja. So DP, this is not the first time he is alleging these claims of rigging. But how, like Doc posted earlier, how did he know that these voters, because the last time you were reading this story, it appears the clerks who are responsible, who are supposed to be there to ensure Kenyans go and check their details, the registration details, they are not supposed to transfer people. So they transferred some voters without the authorization of the IEBC, and Chebukati has come out and said everybody who participated in that, they'll be held liable because the IEBC was not conducting any voter transfer. But Ruto has come out to say the people, now he's saying that this number actually are people who have been taken out of the register, and he's claiming this is from his backyard or where, his strongholds, but he did not provide any evidence to back up his claims. So how did he know these voters were from his strongholds, if at all, these claims are even true?
Yeah, thank you very much, Miriam. And it's quite funny that the Deputy President have been going around the country ridiculing everyone and saying that even if Raila Amolo Odinga appoints his brother Oburu Odinga to be the chairman of IEBC, he will still win the election. This is the same Deputy President who have said that elections in this country are always free and fair. Nobody should be worried about anything near rigging. Therefore, it's quite unfortunate that the Deputy President speaks from both sides of his mouth, because he has been going around the country even telling his supporters that when you look at me, I cannot, my victory cannot be stolen. Nobody can take away our victory as hustlers nation. Therefore, when he comes out crying to the European ambassadors that there are some claims, there are some plans to rig him out in the coming polls, it's quite unfortunate, because I say that he is in the government and there's nothing like deep state, there's nothing like systems, and elections has been always free and fair. And I want to remind Deputy President William Ruto, the way elections have been free and fair, as you have said, as you have maintained, is the same way they will be in 2022 August poll. And I don't understand how William Ruto thinks that there are some regions that are his strongholds and he has never run for the presidency, because your strongholds if you have been there before, and this is the voting pattern of a particular people, and this is how they vote for you. If it was Raila Amolo Odinga claiming that his strongholds have been interfered with, then we could have, it could be understandable. But now, Deputy President William Ruto only perceives that some regions are his stronghold, but the reality will dawn in August this year. That is when we'll know this particular area is a stronghold of Deputy President. Therefore, he should stop tension, he should stop being anxious, he should focus and concentrate on his campaigns rather than all these goal-shifting narratives. But at the end of the day, Miriam, what Deputy President is doing now is a strategy, is a scheme used by those in opposition, by those who are about to lose in an election. That is what Raila Amolo Odinga was doing in 2013 and 2017, Therefore, in fact, William Ruto is just riding on what Raila Amolo Odinga was doing in the previous two general elections. And these are the schemes that are mostly associated with those people who are heading to the opposition. Therefore, there's nothing new. And if William Ruto was interested in rectifying and having a streamlined IEBC, he could have done it in 2017, in 2013. But when Raila Amolo Odinga raised the same concerns, he shut them off. He said that the election will be free and fair, and they have confidence in Wafula Chebukati. It's the same Wafula Chebukati of 2017 that is overseeing this election. Therefore, Deputy President, maybe or not, he is preparing his supporters psychologically that even if we lose, we lose because the systems and the IEBC will not guarantee a free playground. I think he's just preparing his supporters for a defeat come August 9th poll.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. So, Doc, Jevan there has said this is the same Wafula Chebukati that Ruto really defended when it was Raila's time. I think it was NASA who were against Chebukati at that time, and Ruto said, you know, we have confidence in this person. So Karanja is wondering what is it then and what has changed now? And also as he makes these claims about his supporters being taken out of the voter polls register, we know that the official audit report is not out yet and we are waiting for it. So where did he even get these figures? Because they'll ask what, at this point we have to go by what Chebukati is telling us. And what Chebukati said is that over 800,000 voters were transferred and the IEBC had not authorized for that to happen. That was not part of the process. So that is the information we know. But him now turning that to say these are voters who have been taken out of the voters register. So how does he know this while even the official audit report is not out yet?
First of all, I don't know where Gladwell went away or whatever happened.
She had a bit of a technical hitch, but she's been trying to get back. Once she is
okay.
here, she will.
I have told you the truth. These guys went into the servers. They wanted to miss. You know, the Ruto group wanted to disorganize the servers. And unfortunately, the servers disorganized them. Then they have to come out and make noise. You know Ruto. Everybody now who has grown in Kenya here knows who Ruto is. He says one thing today, changes it tomorrow, avoids it, or does not repeat a lie that he has made several times. Why is Ruto even talking about this today when the chairman said it was not any cause for alarm anywhere? The IEBC said it was not a big thing at all. He said they were deleted. One occasion they said 800,000, another one said 1 million. They created servers in another country, neighboring country. Created a big headquarters manned by Russians. And I have to be honest. You see, when I talk about these things on this TV, every day people think I'm mad. Ruto has got an office somewhere in Africa here, manned, which is overseeing this election by white people only. The earlier we expose this, the better for everybody to know. As a scholar and a man, I've told you here yesterday, I told you, Miriam, I told Kenyans, and that Kenyans take my words very seriously. If I were a Kenyan, if I were President Uhuru Kenyatta, he should call these guys, put all of them on table, and tell them, let's not stop the parliament. Let's not do the parliament. Let us get a briefer, reorganize this election. That's one strand I'm seeing. Because I don't want tomorrow people to say Matanga never said it. I want to walk with my head high in the streets of Africa, knowing very well that I said it and the people did not listen to me. On several occasions, I've told you people, I am Paul speaking to Gentiles. I have written my letters, my documents every morning by 5 a.m. My letter to Philippa people, the people of Philippa, watch these steps. There is something very wrong, which is not very right in this election. Both the IEBC and the contestant number 1 who has shown himself. Now contestant number 2 has not come yet. Let's be moderate. Let's organize this debate. And we call upon all experts. Please don't fear and write only. Come and we exchange views. Contestant number 1 has now fired the firing squad. Fires, missile. Contestant number 2 is my liberator friend. He's coming with his analysis. And it is not gonna be business as usual. Because that side has lawyers that sing the rhythm. They're good, very good lawyers. And now added with Kalonzo, added with Martha Karua. This is very interesting election for any observer and a monitor in the world, if you have ever monitored an election. So for Ruto to spoil his chances, addressing Bazungu the way he addressed, threatening them like Idi Amin threatened the Queen, that when you come to Uganda, I'll revenge. Nuclear weapons were released. People took cover because Her Majesty, who's celebrating 70 years on the throne and a birthday.
No, her birthday was in April.
April, but we combined it together. We have 4 holidays for us who live in Britain. 4 holidays from yesterday, today, Saturday, and Sunday. Nobody's doing anything. It's only drink. We are drinking. You drink, relax, coffee, and the sunshine has come out. 4 holidays, 4 days, pay free. Unless if you are in hospital, you will need to go and attend to patients. You know, Bazungu have got that. Here, if the 4 holidays, all of us end up in Malindi, you will find even doctors have left patients dying. So, I mean, threatened the Queen. Yesterday, Ruto threatened the embassies. Said, this election has been rigged. And this is very serious. Okay? That language, no diplomat will not assess you as the aggressor.
And of course, Kimilili MP Didmas Baraza defended DP Ruto's claim, saying they had counter-checked them against those who had verified their details. He claimed that a number of their supporters across the country, but particularly from Mount Kenya and Rift Valley, were not in the register despite being registered. So you're saying they have their own system in which they're relying on and monitoring what is happening.
But I've told you, Ruto has got a full building in a capital city in the world with Russian computer experts. They are monitoring everything you do on this Kenyan election. So if people don't want to listen to that, it's up to you. I think let's have Gladwell has come back
But also on the matter of checking, because Kenyans have been checking and others have been having trouble because they don't have the amount of money required to go through this SMS process. And some Kenyans were wondering, the amount of money we're giving IEBC, why do we still have to pay to check our details, to get our details?
Yes. There is a lacuna in the whole of, Constitution of Republic of Kenya.
Yes.
A very big lacuna. First of all, the IEBC itself did not publish the lists as required by the law. That's one mistake they made. These things would have been done 6 months. Paraded there for you to go and say, but my name is not here. Go back and say, can you put my name? That is not going to be there. Look, Jermaine, this election is already done. Me, David Matanga, I've witnessed elections everywhere in about 42 countries since I was born on planet Earth, including an election in East Timor, where you walk half naked because of the heat. But in this case, I was with a trouser. The people there don't walk with trousers. They walk with kikoi. Because the heat is too much. It can burn your legs. I observed the elections there. This one I've been following. And I've been telling you on this show, both of us, Miriam, that there is something which is not correct. For example, you tell people to search, to bring
to send an SMS.
Yes, send an SMS.
They still have to be charged.
Yes.
And Kenyans are wondering, with all this money that has been given to the IEBC, why do we have to pay money to get our details and check through this SMS? Is it not supposed to be free? Because they have been funded enough. Okay. Why do we have to be charged, and highly?
Miriam, let's continue from that highly word. Let's look at our correspondent, Gladwell. We did not forget you, but it is the internet that forgot you. Gladwell Kiragu. Oh my God, even the name is... How are you, madam, this morning from Kiambu? How are people feeling now that Kalonzo is back?
And maybe she should tell us if she checked her details through that SMS, and if at all she got what kind of reply she got. Because Ruto is saying, it's Mount Kenya and Rift Valley that have been affected. Maybe her and Jevan could confirm if at all the details are okay.
Gladwell.
A very good morning to Doc, Miriam, Jevan, and our viewers. And what I can just say, can we swear Baba and Mama in? I think we've already won this election. Kalonzo brought what we've all been waiting for. And so it's a 60 plus. So Azimio all the way, we won the election. And there is no rerun, until not unless when they decide to do so now. That one will also be a waste of time and a waste for time for the Kenyans. The Azimio team has already won, and they're actually waiting for the swearing in. That's the condition, and that's the situation in Kiambu. That is the people's voice in Kiambu.
But DP refuted those intelligence claims that Azimio is leading. He said, as far as he knows, and as far as their own intelligence, and he reiterated that I am the deputy president of this country. And as far as I know about the intelligence, Kenya Kwanza is leading with 8%. So what are you telling us? So that's what he said.
And my question to the deputy president, how do you know? Because, the problem we're having with Kenya Kwanza ni kujifanya kujua sana, and that is what is messing them up. Because they have that tendency of kujifanya, they know so much, and that's why when Rigathi Gachagua just opened his mouth in the name of I know it all, it just messes up. There's nothing you know. And another thing with Kenya Kwanza, when they're holding rallies, everybody will just go and listen to whatever they are saying. And when they see the masses, they are like, we've won the election. You've not won the election. The ground is very different. And I'm speaking firmly, actually, from Mount Kenya. The ground is very different. It's not the way we thought it is. When Mother Karua was brought in as the running mate of Raila as a woman, that is when things changed. Again, things changed when you took Rigathi Gachagua, who's eating you deeply. When he just opens his mouth, it's just messes, and what's him? You're Kenya Kwanza people. So you can't say that you're leading. How do you know with those people? How do you know that you're leading? You know nothing. Wacheni kujifanya mnajua.
Okay.
All right. There, wajifanya wanajua kumbe wajui maneno. That is the life that is going on. Gladwell, let me ask you one thing. When you are annoyed, do you still carry bravado? Gladwell?
Yes.
When you get annoyed, have you ever been annoyed before?
Yes, I do get annoyed. Like now, I'm annoyed when they say that they know they are leading. How?
So, so this Kabla, is it Kabla? Yes, Kabla cycle is handling, is the cycle of grief, which ends up with Kessler business. Is already infected so many Kenyans, but the first one who has brought it is called William Samoei Ruto. He says now he has intelligence reports, that he has his NIS that gives him intelligence reports. Are intelligence reports just given anyhow? Every Kenyan then would know exactly where the president is coming in, when he's going, how he's going, which food he's eating. There is intelligence that is consumable by the public and intelligence that is not consumable by the public.
Well, he said, I'm the deputy president of this republic, so he's not public.
So now he's the deputy president.
Absolutely.
He was not the deputy president. Can you comment on that one, Madam?
Doc, he says that he's now the deputy president. I think he has been criticizing the same government. He should be the deputy president. Again, Doc, him calling himself, a deputy president currently is just a name to him. Somebody like Matiang'i actually holds more power than him. So, huyu anatuambia nini sasa? I don't know what he's saying. So if you wanted to retire, can you just go home and wait? Actually, he's a presidential aspirant. We should actually not call him the deputy president. There's no way you can be a presidential aspirant and still stand firm, ujipige kifua, useme I'm still the deputy president. No, as far as we know, we are all saying Ruto tawe. And we have no backlash of that, and we are not backsliding.
Okay.
Ruto tawe. Anajipenda, anafanya tawe. Isn't it so? That's the sign. Can you do it out there? Sukuma tawe. Ruto tawe. That's the new song. Anaiba kitu, anaiba kuku, anaiba ng'ombe, anaiba tawe. I think I better make a song now. I am a good mobilizer. Tawe.
So you like Rigathi. Rigathi is also a good mobilizer.
No! Rigathi is a mobilizer without a brain. But I'm a mobilizer with a brain. I used to call, during those days of Dr. Militon Obote, I used to bring those good songs. Oh, Uganda, Uganda, Uganda. Oh, Uganda, Uganda, tunaenda mbele. I was a mobilizer. That's why I rose to the rank of the most senior boys. Near the president, smelling perfume of the president. He's the one who taught me how to dress. My late president. Oh, Uganda, Uganda, tunaenda mbele. If I go for a political rally here in town, then I start putting on my Lingara song, Miriam. And then we dance. People will be calling me to come. Chemusa, the crowd. I am a very good Chemusa crowd, Chemusa man. Thank you very much, Kiruga. Did you know that? And the German Karanja, did you know that I'm a very deadly dancer? It's a Friday, don't get annoyed.
And, you know, Doc, there are a couple of issues I want us to get to. And
Yeah,
I hope
let's go.
we don't forget about...
We have done
we're
number
done with
one,
that, and I want us
number
to...
two. We are now number 4. We have done it. We are on EACC.
Let's go to number 3. And also let's not forget, I think I forgot to put it there, that letter by DP side about not wanting to attend the presidential
Yes.
debate. So we will look at it in a bit, but let's first look at these wrangles now. And impeached politicians will be barred from contesting in the general election, but those with pending criminal cases have been let off the hook. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, yesterday said they will not bar politicians with integrity issues from vying as long as they still have ongoing court cases. The announcement by IEBC boss Wafula Chebukati effectively seals the fate of former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko, who was seeking the same seat in Mombasa County. Mr. Chebukati said IEBC will be guided by law rather than the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission report. In the ongoing clearance, the EACC wants 241 aspirants barred from integrity issues, including 2 running from president, 1 seeking clearance as running mate, and 61 for governor, 6 for Senate, 19 for women representatives, 58 for MPs, and 94 for MCAs. So it is a requirement in our constitution, but that before someone is cleared to run for an elective position in this country, they have to go through this scrutiny by the EACC. There's a reason why that was put there in laws, so that to ensure that they comply with Chapter 6 of leadership and integrity in this country. So if Wafula Chebukati is now saying, because he is the one who actually presented these names to the EACC to do a background check, and the EACC did its due diligence and gave its audit and report back to Chebukati. Now Chebukati is out here telling us it does not matter what the EACC has found out, but this is our position as the commission, and we will not follow what the EACC is telling us. And EACC is basing its findings on the Chapter 6 of the Kenyan Constitution. So who is at fault here?
Miriam, I've already told you who is at fault in this country. If you want me to add and loud the voice, let me loud it. The fault is leaving 3 commissioners to conduct the affairs of this country without filling the positions of the 4 commissioners. We erred, and we are going to pay heavily for the price of being disorganized. Chebukati took us for granted, and as we speak now, Chebukati is simply does not even want to hear you. Why did he send the names to EAS to Major Mutwalibu? Why? The whole thing here is messed up. What do? You see, the biggest problem you have done now, Miriam, and you are bringing me to very serious situation. The biggest problem you have done is you are doing like a Gorbachev. Do you know what we are doing in IEBC now in Kenya? It's like a Gorbachev. Perestroika and the glass notes. We want part reforms. You wanted to party the reform IEBC. Chebukati went to the BBI committee, and I think all of you, Javan and others watching me, he said, this is my position. It was very clear. No sooner had he left the BBI center than Chebukati started a court battle between BBI and himself. You remember? He said the BBI has no mandate, or nobody has a mandate to do constituency. You saw that. And yet when he went to the committee, he did not recommend that. He kept quiet. And me, I've been here telling you, this guy will bring you chaos. Now I don't care whether it is Ruto or Raila. You know, I now care about a country called Kenya, a neighbor called Kenya, that if there is chaos here because of a bad election, Uganda will receive no food, we shall be more worried. But going by the events of this man, when you tell EACC to go and screen people and bring me the names, then later on, you say, no, I will not take their report. But so what we do is this. The case of the people who have gone to court, let the judges hammer Chebukati. The judges will see the judges will see where this country is heading now. The three bench.
No, the three bench is meant to be listening to
the same petition.
Sonko's
not
case.
only Sonko.
Or even the other one with that
yes,
was Kenyans.
It was a big matter, but once they rule on Sonko, it also follows that you cannot go.
But I think Sonko's case is different because he was impeached.
Yeah, impeached. Impeached.
But Waluke has been convicted.
But he has appealed.
But he still remains a convict until that conviction is overturned.
Now that is where the confusion has come.
It has not been overturned. He's still a convict.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Therefore, even Gakjakwa is also criminal. According to the Constitution, chapter 73, 2A, no, not chapter, article 73, 2A, it says personal integrity. If we are now on this television and I start misbehaving in front of all the people here, I would have not to come back here. That's personal integrity. I'm on a national television and I take off shirts and a trouser and I start walking. That's personal integrity. I step aside and allow the general manager and the others to investigate. Was I mad? Was I going to Madaraka? Do I look like I have psychiatric problems? You bring a psychiatric, maybe I have a problem. How could a normal man walk naked on a television station? That's personal integrity. Anything that touches you as a human being, step aside. If you are told that you are charged of 7.4 billion shillings, surely you have integrity, personal integrity, to tell your children that they are against me politically. That's why they have fabricated the case. No. Even your child who has grown in the UK or in a good school like your daughter, your son, will tell you, Mom, but why don't you step aside while they do their investigation, Mom, then you will go back, isn't it? Yes, my child will call me. Especially my children, they are very bad. They will say, hey, where, Atherere, unaiba hapa, you are a thief. Apparently, Ruto's children don't see the father stealing. And he sits in the current house. I said, where? Ekesa, we end the deal here. Lakini usiambia hawa mimi niko. That's what Ruto has been doing. Usiambie nini, I'm part of it. We na mwamba facilitate a Kesha to meet June Ruto in Italy for mercenary, imaginary mercenary who killed Kanei. Kanei died. Kenyans are forgotten. Kanei died over nothing, cold blood, and he's a man you are praising. He went there with tears. ICC come for me on 29th. On 29th of June, ICC come for me. Ruto, bado uko na maneno. 29th, anza kukula chakula.
Zevan Karanja, the issue of IEBC, clearing aspirants who already have some integrity issues, and it has discarded the report by IEBC clearing, and it has discarded the report by the EACC. I mean, what do you think is going on here?
Look, no, Karanja, come in here. But on the 29th, Kenyans, Paulo Chicheru's case comes to a standstill on 29th. Don't worry. God is with us. The prayers are here. We don't have water boreholes that we can change into purity. We have nothing. But the Kenyans pray to God. That ruling is going to come. Submission, final submission. The people who died in the church are not going to die for nothing. Where Ruto? Hata Mungu anaangalia. You have stepped over everybody. But chunga kama warrant inakuja, utabebwa. Hey! Nye mutaki kuambia huyu mtu atembee kama anajua. Let him know. And we are watching every minute. We are getting all intelligence from Karim Khan. Any movement, Karim Khan, I will file an application. And we shall return to Britain to eat what they call DSS money. All of us. Mr. Karim, we are watching your steps. My boys are on you there. We are watching everything, anything you do on this case to stop this action to take place. Na wewe kazi Mr. Karim Khan itaisha. Wacha hii kitu iume mtu. You are going to see Karanja coming. Ruto tawe.
Thank you very much, Miriam and Daktari. And I think we have a problem as Kenyans. If these people are corrupt and the IEBC goes ahead to clear them to run for this elective position, it is our responsibility as Kenyans to reject them at the ballot, because the ballot is the most powerful tool that we can use to better this country, that we can use to change the future of our country and to change the future of our children. If these people are on the ballot and we Kenya are of sane mind and we can make decision, then it is our responsibility to ensure that we reject them into totality at the ballot. Because if we depend on IEBC to give us clean leaders, Miriam, I can tell you for sure we will end up having corrupt leaders cleared to run for political office. And what we'll end up saying is that everybody is corrupt in this country. Therefore, it is upon us Kenyans to defend our right, to defend our country by ensuring that we vote for the right people. Because it said that the choice of leaders that a country have is a reflection of its citizen. If we have corrupt leaders at the helm of power, that shows that we Kenyans are the number one culprits of corruption. We are number one people who have given the corruption a good driving space to continue ravaging our services and our country. Therefore, Miriam, all said and done, we have a date on 9th of August to ensure that we vote leaders of integrity, to reject some leaders and to give others a go-ahead all the way to the ballot. Because what happens, Miriam, we Kenyans, and because of the poverty and the problems that we have, these corrupt leaders, they have learned the art of manipulating voters, and they end up buying their victory all the way to the to this elective position. That is why we have IEBC and the EACC and the other agencies to protect Kenyans in the first place by ensuring that these corrupt leaders don't get to the ballot. But if they get to the ballot, then it's our responsibility as Kenyans to reject those bad leaders. But all said and done, as a country, corruption remains a pandemic that needs to be dealt with wholesomely by all of us. We join hands and we fight this monster once and for all. If we leave it to EACC and IEBC, they might not live to our expectations. Therefore, we live frustrated because IEBC and the EACC, they are trying to do their bit, but it's upon us Kenyans to fight for this space. Because when you hear people saying that, my thief, my choice, and our corrupt leaders, they are good because they steal and they share the small that they have with us, that shows as a country, we're heading in the wrong direction. IEBC might not clear the likes of Mike Sonko and others, but we will end Kenyans in one way or the other. We will end up having other crooks at the helm of power. When you look at the likes of that John Waluke, he has been cleared to run for political office. When you look at others like Evans Kidero, they will be cleared, if I'm not wrong, to run for the elective position. Why are they taking so much time concentrating with Mike Sonko and leaving other corrupt crooks at the MCA level, at the county levels, at Senate level, to run for this political space? It's about being strict. It's about adhering to the rule of law and ensuring that the chapter 6 of our constitution is a working chapter. It's not just a chapter to be read to our kids and to read when we are reading the constitution. The IEBC should ensure that any person who have been mentioned, who has a case in court to answer and touches on corruption, they should not be cleared. But look at this, Miriam, the deputy president, he is on the ballot, and we know all what he have done since he was a member of parliament, minister for agriculture, minister for higher education, and he's still running for the office. And we have Kenyans who will go ahead and vote for him. That is why I agree with Mwalimu Dida when he says that the problem is not William Ruto. The problem is Kenyans who will wake up early in the morning and go and elect the likes of Mike Sonko, the likes of Evans Kidero into these positions of power. Those are the people that we need to deal with them first before dealing with these crooks who have taken advantage of this, because these leaders knows very well the Kenyan system are corrupt. The Kenyans themselves are corrupt. That is why they are not scared. That is why Mike Sonko is not even scared to go into Mombasa. And when you look, the moment he entered into Mombasa gubernatorial race, his ratings increased. He is almost at that 8% popularity in that county. This shows that Kenyans, we have a problem in one way or the other. And I think a lot needs to be done. And I think it's not in this election, maybe in the subsequent general election. Maybe that is why when things will be right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Right. Thank you so much, and a very good morning to you, Yaya Biram here, all the way from the Gambia. You have been our ardent viewer, so it's nice seeing you this morning. Gladwell Kiragu, when it comes to matters of integrity and how it has been captured in our constitution, for many Kenyans, you would think this is a very black and white matter, but apparently not so. It appears to have a lot of gray areas. What is not straightforward in this? The EACC has said these 241 people are not fit to run, for any elective position in this country because of these integrity issues. But Chebukati says no. Are they reading from the same law, or who is at fault here?
Miriam, I first agree with what Karanja has said. And as Kenyans, we also have a problem, and a very big one. Because if you ask somebody what actually is what the Constitution comprises of, he or she has no idea. But when it comes to insults, a very perfect in it. So we can see the matters that we prioritize, it's not needed. Again, Miriam.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we can see that with Kenyans still, Miriam, as Javan has said, that we see that we can see that there are so many people who are corrupt in the offices, and others are vying. And we can see we as Kenyans, and I'm sorry to use this word, let me use the word, we attempt to behave like we don't know what we're doing, because you'll just we wake up in the morning, queue for the long hours to vote. And when you ask somebody, he or she will say that I'd rather die with Ruto, I would rather die with Kidero, I would rather die with Mike Sonko in Mombasa because he's vying for the Mombasa seat. And when you ask them the reasons they give is very null. A reason that you're trying to reason with them and you're like, now why are you behaving like you're stupid at a point? Because this is what Kenyans rush for. They rush for these people who are very corrupt. And when you ask them, they're saying, for example, I always say, somebody like Ruto, most of them have this mentality of, I'll vote Ruto to punish Uhuru. My friend, there's no you can punish Uhuru. Uhuru has just finished his term, and this is the second term. He has made his money. He has his money. He got his projects that after he retires, he will still carry on. So there's no way you're going to punish him. The actual thing you're just going to do is you're only going to add miseries into our Kenyan economy, and we're actually going to suffer. This is what is going to happen. And I wish Kenyans, we can open our eyes. We think and we see beyond our nose, because some of us, they don't see that far. And that's why I like and I agree with Dr. Matsanga's whatever he says. It's always good to see far. Stop saying where you can't just hereby think of tomorrow's future, think of your children's future. It's not about you currently, it's about even the people who are the next generation. So Kenyans, as we go up to vote, Miriam, it can be a waste of time. We can vote. Some of us maybe will still be working, and you just have maybe just 2 or 3 hours to vote. Your sun's scorched, or maybe it will rain, and then you just vote for the wrong candidate or the wrong person, thinking that you're going to punish somebody else. That will be so low of you. Okay. And I hope Kenyans this time can wake up.
So the Kenyans voters should vote for prosperity, for the future. Now, there's something interesting about this story. While Mr. Chebukati was making these statements yesterday, he also said that candidates mentioned in the EACC reports must present a self-declaration form stamped by the anti-graft agency, remember, which brought him these names and told him these people are not suitable to run, but he rubbished that. So now he's saying these people that have been mentioned in this list must again go back to the EACC. Do you understand? Until that point, they must go back to the anti-graft agency where a copy remains with the EACC and another is presented to IEBC returning officers during clearance. So the EACC that has already told you these people are not suitable. So you're sending these people back to the EACC so that the EACC stamps, give them they fill a form and they're stamped. And the same EACC that has told you these people are not suitable is supposed to stamp and tell you, okay, now these people can go ahead and run. I mean, it's a cocktail. Chebukati is asking them to go back and the EACC to fill a form.
To go and fill what?
To stamp that form, to clear them.
Major Mutwali and the Bishop of Bukala. Just don't clear these guys.
He's sending them back.
No, don't clear them.
Yeah.
You know, time has come, and I'm going to do a takeaway here today. Time has come for us institutions to work. Major Mutwali and Wabukala just paralyze this. Let there be no election. There's no need.
Because we can't give you an audit report telling you these people are not suitable. You're sending them back to us to clear them again.
Exactly.
For what?
The way we are doing things, the way Chebukati is doing things, is like he doesn't want the election at all. Then why did you Kenyans, why didn't you listen to me? You lost 40 billion. It's gone. You still think there is an election here? This back and forth on. Hey. How many days left? 67. Tomorrow you are clearing. I have told you, Miriam, on this show already. The other man has not come yet. The other guy has not come. And he is coming. The other one, you know him. Raila has not come in down. It is only one person who is on. There will be chaos.
Okay.
It's back and forth, back and forth.
Back and
it's
forward.
Not worth.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you have any thoughts on this, Gladwell, before we move on to the next matter. EACC is asking these aspirants to go back, IEBC, EACC already said they're not qualified, so IEBC is asking them to go back for EACC to stamp their form to say they're qualified. This puts EACC at a very precarious situation, don't you think?
I think we should start now a tweet, the same tweet and the same hashtag that we used to demonstrate lower food prices. Is the same hashtag we should start using. Can Wafula Chebukati resign? Because there's no way you can send somebody back to the same office that said that these and these cannot happen. Maybe the same person are fit. Then you tell them to go back and get a stamp there. For Christ's sake, why are you mixing up the people? I think we should start that hashtag now. Can Wafula Chebukati resign? Because this election will all be messed up and we all blame the IEBC. That is for sure. When it messes up, we blame upon the IEBC.
All right, thank you so much. And of course, yesterday we did have a breaking news. Of course, to Kenyans, it's not a breaking news anymore. When Wiper leader decided to rejoin Azimio la Umoja, and of course, this elicited a lot of comments and debate among Kenyans. And of course, Kenya Kwanza also had so much to say about this. And the principals led by Deputy President William Ruto yesterday ridiculed Mr. Kalonzo Musyoka's return to the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition under the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. And also on the front page of the Daily Nation, series of negotiations that brought together the heft of President Kenyatta and Baringo Senator Gideon Moi finally brought the Wiper leader back to the Azimio fold. However, he did not leave the negotiations table empty-handed, and there are a couple of things that the Prime Minister's lot in the Raila cabinet will be given. Deal proposes the BBI revival, and his coalition side will also get an undisclosed number of cabinet positions, and Kalonzo's wing could also head the foreign affairs docket. And also, yes, so those are just some of the things that they were able to broker and negotiate about. And I've been joking here that, Gideon Moi was the man who was assigned the special, he was on special assignment. And he seems to have understood the assignment, and he delivered.
Yes. but you could see, but Miriam, also, you must begin with thanking your own. Wherever you are going, you don't fit there. The best is to stay with Raila. Raila's direction is one road towards Jerusalem. My letter concluded. And you will be the president very soon. Raila is Mandela. Raila wants a Mandela moment. And he's genuine. He wants to groom other people. He wants to make sure the corruption is gone. Groom a nation. Sit down and put the leg there and say, yes, this is what I wanted for Tanzania. Raila is Nyerere moment. He wants to go back to Butiama, and sit at Butiama home in Bondo later on and say, yes, Kalonzo and Martha Karua are doing very well. It's the best route to leadership. You can't go to a jango, thief, chicken. You are walking with a very beautiful woman in the streets. Wetangula and Mudavadi, today listen to me. You are walking with a beautiful lady in the town of Bungoma. Then people keep on pointing fingers at you. Then you look back and say, what have I done wrong? They keep on telling you, that guy, he walks in the company of the other thief. We lawyers have that sense of respect. Kalonzo has come to the sense of respect. not the sense of shame. Can you go with Ruto abroad and feel comfortable? Surely. Now, the way he addressed diplomats there, do you feel comfortable? Which Muzungu will give Ruto a tender? Only mafia people will come to give Ruto a tender.
And some Kenyans are wondering why Rigathi was not given an opportunity to perhaps speak as the the potential deputy president.
Speak where?
With the European Union envoys.
How can he speak? Speak which language? Idi Amin language? What will Rigathi talk there? What does he know?
He can try explaining bottom-up economy. Why? For starters.
What? He can't even explain half bottom. There is a bottom up, but there is half bottom. One bottom is half. Rigathi only knows how to impregnate girls. Pop, mimba, pop. Several. All those who used to make noise here, who write about me, they have been hammered with pregnancy. Hey, Quisha! And a wife is a pastor. How do they sleep in one house? What a Rigathi, what? What's a campaign ianze kesho? Tutaambiwana ukweli, si ndio? Fred, this is the mambo huko mountain, iko kali. The guy has, Wetangula, I am telling you, when Wetangula goes to the village, all the people take their wives away to Eldoret. Allah. This guy, the boss himself, that boss, room number 350 has been being a big room that does all types of interviews. Is this a group that you can associate yourself with? Let me stick with Raila. I'll do everything to make sure that Raila gets a vote, even if I'm not a voter. But there are people in this country who also believe in my saliva. There are people in these villages who say that Ugandan man, what was he saying? He was right here. They will give Raila a vote. And after all, elections is not a matter of death. If Ruto wins, I don't think he can lead more than 2 days. Because people will start fighting. If you bring an interview, a debate between Martha Karua and me, a debate between Martha Karua and Rigathi, haya, sindio radio zitapanyuka, everything will break down. Because I don't know what Rigathi will say. Mm-hmm. That brings us to the topic of your debate.
Before the debate.
Okay.
Before the debate, I want Gladwell to comment on that matter. Kalonzo Musyoka is back to Azimio. Were you surprised by his coming back?
Miriam was not surprised, and even before it was made public that he's coming back, I'd already made a tweet on Facebook, and somebody insulted me and told me to continue dreaming. And when Kalonzo joined back, I told the person, can you now wake up? Because Kalonzo joining Azimio was something very usual, and something currently we don't care whether he was paid to join back or not. That's none of our business. Our business is the votes, the Ukambani votes that now he has brought to the table that now have actually added it up to 60%. And our next worry and concern is the president who is Raila and who is going to be Raila hopefully, and mother. I mean, them being the next president and the deputy president of Kenya, that is our current worry and concern, and that is actually what is a matter of concern. And for Kalonzo joining first, I want also to say that the cards were played well, and Gideon Moi also exercised his duty fully. He was the hitman, and also UDOC because he wrote to Kalonzo before Gideon. So him joining back wasn't that a surprise to Kenyans, because Kalonzo has made us Kenyans that today he can be this way, tomorrow this way. So him always wavering. It's not news to us.
All right, thank you. So I think, Doc, this brings us to this communication that was given from the Director of Communications in William Samoei Ruto's presidential campaign, in line with the presidential debate that is being prepared, as it has been the custom since our last elections. So I'll just read part of this statement by Hussein Mohammed, that is the Director of Communications in DP's campaign. We have noted with much concern the repeated and continued bias and propaganda in a section of Kenya's mainstream media in abuse of statutory terms of license and violations of constitutional freedoms. We note the unequal allocation of coverage compounded by a biased framing and negative profiling of the Kenya Kwanza Alliance campaign and personalities affiliated to it. While their nefarious intentions and actions remain inconsequential to unenlightened people, we demand fair play as a matter of right as well as professional decency. Political news is a matter of public interest, and its coverage, therefore, by a journalist, media practitioner, or a media enterprise, according to the Media Council Act 2013, has to be done fairly, accurately, and with all sides of the story being reported. This has been deliberately contravened, consciously ignored, and brazenly abused by the section of media. So we wish to highlight the notorious instance of runaway abuse of public bandwidth by Royal Media Services, a license which has converted its platform, especially Citizen TV, Inoro TV and Inoro Radio, to official campaign mouthpiece of Azimio La Umoja. The Daily Nation compliments these abuses by becoming their print counterpart. We expect the media to play their rightful role in cultivating a healthy, robust, and inclusive discourse. Our democracy depends on the media to make our political environment less divisive and less toxic. Under the current partisan media environment, we have advised our candidate against participating in the presidential debates. So I've actually read the whole letter, the whole communication from the Hustler Plaza in Ngong Road. And according to the director of its communications there, Hussein Mohammed. So they're saying we will not participate in the presidential debate because apparently the media has been very biased towards Kenya Kwanza. The mainstream media.
Can I pose a question? If Ruto was asked about corruption, how would he answer?
That's what I thought when I saw this.
He can't answer. If Ruto was asked of the choppers he bought from Italy through Adani Duale's brother, registered in Adani Duale's brother's name, not his names, but they are his helicopters, what will he answer? If Ruto was asked, how did you know it was not 21 billion, it was 7 billion, how will he answer? I was in government. If Ruto was asked, where is the bank guarantee that you told Chief Justice Madaraka and all judges seated that the money is not lost? And now the Italian man is suing the Kenya government for the same money. What would Ruto answer there? So all these questions, and then Hussein is just, this is someone, a village market vendor who used to take my photographs at IECC. Has he got the capacity to reason? So he's reasoning exactly like his master. I'm happy, he's a good man. That's okay. He has done nothing ever to me, but he doesn't have the brain to challenge us. If you put us, the communication team of Azimio, with Hussein, you run out of the room. Because he doesn't have the experience. So his experience there now, they have taken over. And he's not even, he's regretting. If you have a man called Itumbi doing something called National Security Intelligence Service, not National Intelligence Service. Can I read for you something? Ruto gets his information from Somalia National Security Intelligence Service. But Kibicho gets his intelligence from National Intelligence Service. So he has brought, you see, on the floor you can see Ruto's investments. Now, Ruto doesn't even know his own investments. But Ruto says, I got this information from the intelligence. It gave me 80 points ahead. But he's getting it from Somali National Intelligence Services, NSIS. Is different from NIS. Umeona Miriam, have I explained? So if you are going to this television with this type of head, people will clobber you with questions. Kibicho is very right. But in these circumstances, Ruto is not right. Because Kenya does not have national service, NSIS. Kenya has got NIS. You get it? NIS and NSIS. They are two different organizations. Ruto's, this is Ruto, he told us, it's written in the paper, that he got his from here. Kibicho got his 60% from here, which is a well-known intelligence network.
So after posting that communication there, and I was just going through the comments of a lot of Kenyans, of course there are a few who are in support of that, but the others who are feeling as though he's trying to avoid accountability because he will, these questions will be posed. And also somebody was saying, you know, I don't even want Ruto and Raila, I just want to see how Rigathi will debate with Martha. And from what we've said, that might not be a very good idea for Kenya Kwanza. So is this, you know, avoidance tactics here from Kenya Kwanza, and will this not be detrimental as far as, because usually it's a very big platform where these candidates get to come and sell their agenda and explain some of these things and convince Kenyans on why they should be elected. So will it be a disservice to their supporters, to the supporters of Kenya Kwanza, Gladwell?
Miriam, that's why I say that the problem with the Kenya Kwanza is this attitude and this notion of that we know it all, that we have the information. And somebody saying that Rigathi is better than Mother Karua, your reasoning must be very low. You can't compare the two. And that's how we can see Mother actually is even given a space to speak. And there's something I love about this woman. Her speech always comprises of peace in our country. When you hear about Rigathi Gachagua, him speaking, he's going to close some businesses and bring money to the bottom up people, to the mama mbogas. So you can differentiate between the two speeches. Yes, Miriam, and there's no way you can compare the two.
Mm-hmm. So it's just a cover, Doc, because we usually have the presidential debates and then the deputy presidential debates. So is this a blanket cover so that maybe Rigathi does not get an opportunity again to mess up? We know he's not very good when it comes to structured conversations from what we've seen in public, and I'm not trying to stereotype him on this one.
Which one? on Ruto?
And because we usually have the presidential debate, then the deputy presidential debates, and Kenyans are saying, forget even Raila and Ruto, we know both can talk. What we want to see is a debate between Martha and Rigathi. So is this a blanket cover? Because they know so this will be a huge mistake on their part.
He's regretting. One of the problems of the syndromes of Kubla grief.
Kubla,
yes, now you have told me. Kubla grief.
Kubla is the 5 steps of grief.
Of grief, yes.
Yes.
Kubla in German.
Yes, starts with denial, anger, bargaining, depression, then acceptance.
Yes.
So which part are you
So
talking?
I'm right?
So which part are you addressing?
Everything is combined in Ruto.
Okay.
Stress, grief.
Yeah. Denial, anger.
Denial.
Yes, and then bargaining, depression, acceptance.
And the last.
The last steps, the 5 steps
No,
of
and
grief.
the last, LUST.
Acceptance. And then last.
Yes, he has last. You don't know. I don't want to talk on the TV near.
And let's go
near
back
you.
to the debate then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ruto has last, LUST. Eh?
It's not part of.
Not
the
greed.
It's not part of the Kubla.
It's part of the Kubra also. If you have those, if you have those syndrome, depression, one of them leads you to lust. Lust for money. I don't want to say lust for women, because people will think I'm too much personal. Lust for money.
So this is part of 5 stages of grief.
Of grief. Towards there, you are about to die.
Okay.
So you have to cover. He's now grieving. Why? Kithure Kindiki was not there.
So he's grieving that.
Yes.
Okay.
Have I explained properly, you people out there? Kithure Kindiki is coming back to haunt Ruto. How will I present this deputy with Martha, a well-educated, bright student of law?
Rigathi is a political science student now.
Where?
From the University of Nairobi.
He was planted there to spy on people.
In 1980 something.
Yes, planted to spy on people. He didn't finish the school.
Okay, but we all know he's to your point, he's not very good in structured conversations.
No,
like we have seen.
He will talk about how Kikuyus should be coming to eat mchere, nyama, buzi, na mfungwe changa naye ikwe huko. In Sagana. Fungua changa. Your Excellency, kama unakuja hapa Sagana, fungua changa.
It's Muratina from
Muratina, changa, nguli, Uganda waraji, mix it there. That is your deputy president. And the people will be, chakula. Jesus has turned water into wine.
Muratina is a very respected traditional drinks from that side. So that might not be such a bad idea. But that is not what the people of Kenya Kwanza want him to articulate. They want, first of all, for them to explain this bottom up, because a lot of even their supporters don't exactly understand what this bottom-up economy is, and perhaps their agenda and their issues around corruption. I think that is something Kenyans would want to know. Their issues about healthcare, their issues about education, because they're now telling us that they're against the CBC. So perhaps explain to Kenyans what is wrong with CBC and what they intend to do differently. So if they miss out this opportunity to come out and explain some of these things to their supporters, they will be doing a disservice to the people who actually believe in them.
Ma'am, Miriam, and Gradual, this is a problem of grief. He's hiding, protecting the deputy.
It's a blanket protection.
Yes. He knows, even when he chose the deputy, he chose under the grief that if I leave this man to be the MP, he might not make it. Because Mtwalipu will say 7.4 billion. You are allowing this man to go and steal again. Let's protect him under the vice presidency. I have people who sat in that meeting who have sat with me and told me the truth. Why Ruto chose this guy to cover up so that he's not harassed by the state. You know, as a running mate, now you become a very powerful man, guarded by 4 guards. People guard your house. You can even lend some to there is a presidential candidate called Ekot. And at this time, the government, please, watch our policemen are misused. Mr. Ekuro Court misuses policemen and uses them to harass us over girlfriends. Yes. Please let him stop using policemen. You are giving him, clearing him to get on the ballot. But Mr. Okuro Court, stop misusing the police to send them to Turkana to deliver things in Turkana. These policemen are supposed to guard you during this period. After the vote is finished, we ask the Inspector General of Police to remove these policemen immediately.
They're usually removed immediately.
No! Okuro Court remained with police. And they went on threatening another younger man who loved one of the girlfriends around the town. The boy came crying to me. Mi nazungumza ya haki. Until this younger man managed to take the baby, the girl away, and it was over. I told him next time when he comes there, tell him Matanga is coming. Say, hi, you are a friend of Matanga. The boy said, yes, I'll also call Uncle Matanga. Because the boy was threatened. So some of these presidential candidates are going to threaten us with this police. They are hiding in this. Wako na madeni ya watu wana hide na police. Please, Wafula Chebukati straighten this police under the police commission, Inspector General of Police. Somea hawa watu riot. If the policeman is supposed to guard the presidential candidate and the running mate, they should not be involved in collecting girlfriends from some places to the other place. The duty is not to collect girlfriends and guard girlfriends. You are in a good hotel, you have paid your money. You have gone with your family to relax. Then the presidential candidate arrives with the convoy. They even want to switch off the TV when you are watching in that hotel. Because the presidential candidate has to see what is happening, is coming to sit in the lobby. Jermaine, Kenyans might not speak about this, but we in the public media must plead to the Inspector General of Police to discipline, to tell them, we are giving you this policeman, but if we see you misusing them, we shall remove them. Remember, right now, people like Wakikoya must be well guarded. Remember, he's already in the race now. If something happens to Wakikoya now, Kenya cannot, God forbid.
He keeps smoking that thing, he'll be fine.
So, Miriam, it is a very bad day. It's a very good year. When was the election last held? 2017.
Yeah, twice.
2017. This year is a harvest year. A very heavy harvest year. God must have come back and tell me something I want to know. Yes, it's going to be a good election. You know why? The vision God tells me Raila will win. And there will be no problem at all. I'm now honestly telling you. Even here, the even is 20. You see all the elections that have been very fragile. Have been where? Look at it. Angalia my palm. if you think I'm not an overseer. All elections in Kenya that have been so dangerous have been during the odd years. Matanga has brought a fury. 2007, 1997, 2013. You remember 2013? 2017. Are those even years? Listen to Matanga. That's the prophecy. From God, I'm now talking to you. This one is going to be very peaceful, and the Baba will go home to State House as the president. Ruto Tawe. I've told you, I come from the kingdom of Vamasaba, which is Umukuka. I'm a product of Umukuka. Don't you see the way I look? Look at me. This is going to be very good election. Maybe I'm marking. 2002. Wasn't it peaceful? Wasn't it?
It was.
2005. Very dangerous.
That was the constitution.
Very dangerous.
The referendum.
There was no bloodshed, but it was blood. Political blood was on the floor everywhere.
And I think that set the stage for what we saw in 2007.
Exactly. 2007, you saw. So I've brought you a theory, Kenyans. Every even year of harvest, look at the Bible and compare with the African divinity. I did the subject of the African divinity. Every even year in any African setting brings joy. The odd years bring anguish. Hii itakuwa mzuri. Tutapigana porojo iende. Lakini Wafula Chebukati namna anacheza mpira hii is not very good. Walicheza very bad football. They were caught up there. All of them are coming out now. All of them to say, you be the first one to shout. Then I will come in and counteract your statement. I'm telling you. Now, the other one has not come yet. Wait, by Monday. That's when ngoja by Monday. Raila Odinga agurume. Kwa mambo ya IEBC ataguruma. So, if I were a Kenyan, this election, if it is a mandatory that we have to vote, let's go, you go and vote. But if there is a chance of saying, let's organize it properly, kura ionekane, Martha Karua's kura isabiwe ionekane. Let the parliament look at the consequences of holding an election which is badly prepared, managed, arranged, supplied, to an election which is properly supplied, organized, and transparent. What is the price? I submit.
Okay, and I think that marks the end of our Kenyan topics
Kenya,
this afternoon. So we get into some other topics that we wanted to look at today, and we start with Tanzania, where the government has paid pension and other benefits that opposition politician Tundu Lissu lost when he was stripped of his parliamentary seat after fleeing into exile. At the time, he was at loggerheads with the then President John Magufuli, who was determined to crack down on the opposition. But since Mr. Magufuli's death last year, the political climate has changed in Tanzania under his successor, President Samia Suluhu Hassan. Mr. Lissu left Tanzania in 2017 and after being shot and wounded by unidentified gunmen in the capital, Dodoma. Speaking at a digital forum on Wednesday, Mr. Lissu said he had received a phone call 2 months ago from an officer in the finance ministry who informed him that the benefits he was claiming had been paid. Mr. Lissu added that all his bank debts had been settled by the government. He's quoted as saying, "I had loans from 2 banks and one had already filed a case in court claiming back the money, but now I feel the inconveniences are gone and I can tell the public that the government under President Samia has settled all the debts." The chief government paymaster, Emmanuel Tutuba, told local Mwananchi newspaper that it was normal practice for the government to pay debts of its employees and officials, including the pension benefits. The government's action is said to be a result of face-to-face talks between Mr. Lissu and President Samia in February. They met in Belgian capital Brussels when she was there on an official visit, and of course many have applauded the president for improving Tanzania's human rights record, including lifting bans on media outlets imposed under her predecessor. And of course, I think Tanzania, and especially President Samia Suluhu, she seems to have completely diverted from that path which Magufuli has settled on, and she seems to want to build a more cohesive, maybe a more tolerable environment as far as democracy and politics is concerned in Tanzania. What do you make of some of these changes that she has been making?
So, my friend,
Tundu Lissu
has been paid.
Yeah, all his debts have been cleared. And
that is a good president. President Museveni never paid me. Your Excellency, President Museveni, also do this thing, man. Look at the people. Why are you leaving your son being insulted in Kenya? Why? I did a great job for you. Look at Tindu. He has come, he has been paid. It must be billions, man. Now that you have told me I'm going to ring Tindu to give me something to survive in exile. Because I told Tindu the first day when Magufuli died, I and Tindu were the first people on international television. And when I had Tindu say something very bad, I told the presenter, the production of that TV to switch it, to allow us to go back the scenes first. I rang Tindu, I said, hey, don't be an African. When a man in Africa has died and is lying in state, don't condemn him. That ghost can follow you forever. And when we came back on the TV, he sobered down because he had talked very badly about my friend Magufuli. I said, don't do that. I said, one of these days you might need to use his name to go back. And he used his name. He has now been paid. That's a good president. Mama Samia Suluhu, asante sana. Thank you very much for paying, including the injury that he got bullets. Me, Konyo was gonna kill me. I got nothing. I'm still on saliva. The master stroke told me they will pay you. EU don't pay the Matanga. Honestly, in a letter, don't pay Matanga. We are paying him. Because he's a Ugandan, he did a great job. I hate this whites paying you. Kumbe nilikuwa napelekwa naingia box. Up to today, His Excellency, Yoweri Gakuta Museveni, you have never paid my money. I don't need to say this in front of God when we meet. But I said on earth, don't get annoyed with me over nothing. That is the only money. The other things of Uganda, I'm not. Don't ask me about Uganda. Was I born the one to carry Uganda? I tried my level best. I was a fighter. I fought. I brought parties. Basically, never wanted the parties. It's a Friday, we can divert from one point you asked. He never wanted the parties. The laws that are putting him in jail today, I'm not saying it's very good, but he's the one who made them. He issued warrants of arrest for all of us because we are Obotese people. Look at today. When you are in politics, please be careful. Spare something for your children tomorrow and for other friends. Look at the friends who are fighting for him is Matanga again. Who to say, please, Nyenye, don't do that. Pay that money of 30 million for Besigye to get out. They want 30 million. We have it. Ugandans have collected it. They want to pay, he gets out, but he doesn't want. He said let him serve the sentence.
How long is the sentence?
Up to July something.
Okay.
Said he will serve it.
And the 30 million is about 90,000.
No.
Kenya shillings?
Not 90,000. It is about 900,000.
Or Kenya shillings?
Yes.
Okay. That's a lot of money.
No, we had collected to pay it. As a friend.
Mm-hmm. And he was charged with
just demonstration.
Yeah.
That's a topic of Friday, and you know this topic today, ladies and gentlemen, is unfiltered information. We have collected. No, it's Matanga is a mobilizer. One thing, the whole of Europe, they will collect that money. Within what is 900,000? They will collect it. But Besigye has told us he doesn't want to get out of prison. It looks like they have an agreement that he should die there. We are concerned. You think Besigye's wife does not have 900,000? She is the United Nations Assistant Secretary General. But he's trying to fight for Ugandans. But Mr. Besigye, I want to tell you, I was the first one to fight for Ugandans. And I look at the names they mentioned. Look at what the Uganda intelligence wrote about, fabricated on me. They demonized me. Even the same people rejected me. So please, don't die like Okonko. Your son has now grown. He's got first master's degree in Oxford. Look after him. Get out. These people of ours in Africa, you die for them, they first insult you. They used to call me so many bad names. Oh, Konyiman. Oh, this. Oh, that. You know, when I was serving them. Now you look at the mess they have done. Not that Besigye has no money. He has the money. He can. You think people cannot pay for Besigye? There are businessmen in Kampala who support opposition. They can just go and deposit that 30 million. But he has said, don't pay.
Mm-hmm. He has declined.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't pay. Let him go and come back. But His Excellency President Museveni also remember to pay people's debts. Like mine has never been paid. $332,000. And the son goes around here, bragging around here. $332,000 of the peace talks allowances were never paid. I suffered for nothing. My children, thank you very much. My family, my wife, you people were there for me. I would have lost. If I had died there, all my children will suffer, my wife will suffer, everybody. But thanks, I came back alive. And I want to thank Her Majesty's government that authorized me to go there. Actually, during the Prime Minister Major, Gordon Brown, they said, go and do the peace process. The ambassador, British ambassador, was in Juba to support us. Those who were nationals of that country. I'm telling you the truth today. They were there, they took our photographs, everything. That's why we did a great job. The war ended, South Sudan was created. It is there today. People are fighting over it, but they don't know the origin, where it came from. If you are not crossed the troops of LRA from Eastern Equatoria to Western Equatoria, they were killing people on Yei Road. From all the way from Kampala, you couldn't pass with any truck to Juba. They blow it up. Those boys were bad boys. I took 3 weeks to cross them over Nile. Supervised 3 weeks. We've inflated boats, which the peace process bought for me. I corrected them from Mombasa, took them. They used over 40,000 men crossed the Nile. And at the time, the Sam Nile took some people. Because the ropes could cut in the middle. Those who don't know how to swim went. We are here today. South Sudan is there. They went to Garamba Park, Rikwamba. That is a territory in Congo. From Eastern Equatoria to Western Equatoria. May God help us. When I remember that journey, Miriam, I cried tears. And they never paid me. I'm here today. But the tears of this motion has come because of Tanzania paying their opposition man who suffered in exile. The guy had a bullet in Aga Khan hospital somewhere in town, where is Aga Khan? Somewhere south there. Suffered. But the president has called the man and said, compensate him. But what about a person who brought peace? And when these people come here, when they have an opportunity to talk to Kenyan officials, they tell them lies. Oh, this matter. You have not paid Matanga. That's a lot of money. Even if you give me only 50,000 shillings to dollars, today, Miriam, I would be very happy. Even a medal. I would be very happy to have a medal for having brokered peace and returned 100,000 men into the troops that are guarding Mogadishu. You think they don't know me? Oh, do you think they don't know me? You think they don't know me? Hey. Sour. But I have kept off. I've said God is the guiding principle. Miriam, God is the guiding star. Once you renounce violence, that's the end. I don't, no lawyer man goes back when he has shaken your hand. That's why the Mudavadis and the Wetangula are finding it a curse to turn fists against. You know what pained Wetangula most yesterday is to see his friend Kalonzo earning a good name. It's very painful. He earned a good name last night. Call him anything, but he's corrupted the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He's gone with 3 ministries. Wewe uko kwa 90% wanakuambia later 70 before you even smell a post of a tea girl. You know Wetangula is fit to be a tea girl. Ile anasukuma chai kwa Ruto. Leta chai!
He's running for his senatorial.
Uko atapata wapi?
And Doc, you brought in the issue of Besigye and his arrest, I was just going through the charge sheet and what he was charged with. And the prosecution states that on May 24th, Dr. Besigye, while at Arua Park, Muno Village, Shauriako Parish, Central Division in Kampala, without lawful excuse at an assembly, made statements to members of the public indicating or implying. So these are things that did not happen. But from what he was saying, according to the prosecution charge sheet, he was indicating or imply that it would be desirable to demonstrate an act which was calculated to lead to destruction or damage of property. Remember, no destruction, no damage of property actually took place. So it's like that bail you normally like talking about, which we have here in Kenya, where you know you've done wrong, so you go to court so that you give.
Anticipator.
So they were anticipating that. So he's being charged on anticipatory grounds. What I know our constitution has issues, but this one, our neighbors there, Doc. You're going to charge somebody on
Gladwell can say we are charging you for expecting an earthquake.
We're expecting you to lead to destruction or damage of property.
No, the magistrate was.
But that never really happened.
Yeah, but one thing is.
So you could charge him with unlawful assembly. I think that will make sense. Destruction of property.
One thing is this, Mama. Let me tell you also. Yeah, no, listen first. In Africa, I want to tell you the truth. Gladwell, before, get off. She's gone.
She had a connection.
In Africa, always remain humble when you are in power. All these mistakes of these laws, they were done by Besigye when he was a political commissioner. The same treatment we are receiving today, we are talking about today, let me tell you, is the treatment Besigye is receiving today, is the treatment all opposition leaders got in Uganda. And that is, but at the moment, he doesn't want anybody to rescue him from that prison. He wants to finish the term and come back. And he says, as soon as he finishes, he's going to demonstrate. So that's the life we have in our republic called Uganda.
All right. Okay. So, of course, the latest from the Democratic Republic of Congo, because this is a story that we have been following. So perhaps President Felix Tshisekedi may have opened a Pandora box by inviting troops from neighboring countries to fight rebel bases in the Democratic Republic of Congo. In November 2021, following deadly bombings in Uganda's capital, Kampala, Tshisekedi allowed Ugandan units to cross into DRC's North Kivu province in pursuit of the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF, a Ugandan rebel coalition whose largest faction has sworn allegiance to the Islamic State. The following month, Burundian soldiers reportedly marched into the DRC to battle the Red Tabara rebel group. So this rebel group from Burundi are also in the Democratic Republic of Congo. These interventions are causing fresh upheaval in a country that has suffered greatly from regional rivalries. Rwandan President Paul Kagame has warned that he might dispatch soldiers as well, while Kenya-led talks have received a proposal for an East African intervention force. Tshisekedi should set clear rules for the foreign military operations in the DRC. There seems to be none. Drawing on Kenyan support, he should perhaps redouble his efforts to convince Rwanda not to send in troops, pointing out the risk of Rwanda's reputation should it do so, and addressing some of Kagame's concern, because we already know the DRC is very skeptical about Rwanda and has accused Rwanda. So even Rwanda wanting to unilaterally send its troops there to the DRC maybe may not be in good taste, owing to the current existing tensions between these two countries. So, of course, this interventions that is being led and proposal that is being led by Kenya by forming an East African intervention force, that has not come to pass yet, and we are hoping to see how that will work out. But so far, the DRC has become another battleground where, over 120 rebel groups exist there, and the interest and the countries that have been accused to being a part of that conflict there. So how do you see this ending moving forward?
Miriam, finally, I think let's make that the final one.
It is the final one.
The story of DRC is a sick child of Africa. I agreed that the Democratic Republic of Congo needs rearrangement. The two countries, Uganda and Rwanda, are not telling the truth. And I want people who are watching me right now to take this message. If you think you can rearrange Rwanda, DRC, without dismembering it, it is a long journey. If Kenya took troops there on understanding that they were helping Tshisekedi, let them begin to see some signs that they could become a target very soon. Can I repeat that very well? The Kenyan KDF, which is doing a great job, so far their area has not been affected. There are no skirmishes where the Kenyan troops contingent is. But for the commanders and for the senior office security friends of mine, be careful on Museveni and be careful on Kagame. I will speak the truth so that it sets me free and Jesus walks ahead of me so that they don't kill me. Isn't it? Yes. If I don't speak now, nobody will speak. I know that area. I know how. So when you hear Kagame is quarreling with President Museveni, keep off. Don't ever utter a word, because you could be the one crushed later. Those guys want a state called Wenamulenge state. They want a state out of Congo. Whether you like it, whether you go to heaven, whether you go to Angel Gabriel, there is an ambition for a state, a newly created state. It is like, you see, people are not talking well about this thing. But if we sit down, it's like a South Sudan. My great friend Garang, a senior man I saw who gave me $1,600 in Serena Hotel while I was going to Zimbabwe that day. I cried tears. He had wanted a united Sudan. Garang never wanted a separate state. He wanted an equal Sudan. Equal, but remain in Sudan. I was on my way to Zimbabwe that time. I stayed in Serena. Little known to me that the second day, His Excellency, the former the late, was going to come. He was then the vice president of the entire Sudan. He stayed in Serena. Then when I was getting out, going to arrange, by then there were so many potholes on Mombasa Road. So when you want to get a flight to out of Kenya, you have to go like 3 hours. So I woke up, I had my breakfast quickly. Then I come from breakfast in Serena, that place. I see people coming in a convoy. Then, hey, the boss is coming. Who? The vice. Garang, oh, then I said, I went to my room. I came down, I said, one of the guys we were with in 85, 86 in Nairobi, Miriam told me, you want to see the boss? I said, tell him Matanga is here. He said, I remember Matanga. Yeah, you. From 1985, 84, 83, 84 in Kampala, we used to give Garang our support as Obote government. Arms, money, dollars. It's not Museveni who gave him the arms. No. And when we came here, he hosted us. He used to come to our house somewhere in Runda, called on Rispa House Road. It used to be there. He used to meet us as rebels. Now this time, helping us. So he said, come. Going upstairs. I said, yeah. He said, the first thing, sit down. Have you eaten? I said, I've had breakfast. How are the children? I said, they are grown up. They are now a bit big. But they just give me headache. Hey, tunazungumza kidogo, anasema, I don't have much time. But I know I've lived this life. He gave me $1,600. May his soul rest in peace. Brother, you went too early. Say, go and put, where are you going? I'm going to, there's some work I'm doing for Sky News with Mugabe. I wanted them to go and interview people. I'm going to Harare. Oh, you are starting the journey early. I said, sir, I don't have police escort like you. So the potholes, that road was really bad. And thanks to Kibaki, they had started doing it at that time. I went. But as I was standing up, he said, by the way, what can I tell your friend? I'm going to Kampala in 3 days' time. I said, what? This is exactly what I said. I said, you are going to Kampala. He said, what can I tell His Excellency the President? Oh, you Matanga, you are paranoid. I said, I'm paranoid. Let me be where I am. I told him, no, there's no problem. Because he was asking me, how can we start peace talks? When he asked me, how do we start peace talks to return peace? I see you speak on PCNN, Sky News, ITN, but can we initiate peace talks? That was why he called. And then after Zimbabwe, I go back to London. I was seated with Shaka Sali. There was a meeting of Ugandans in a Croydon Park Hotel. And I listened to what the news we got. The rest is history. And I remember the words I said. I just said, are you going where? That's all. The rest I cannot say on this live stream. I said, where are you going? You can imagine, he left a full plane hired by the government of Sudan here. They then went. So life is measurable. Today, South Sudan would have been a good state with the presence of Garang. It brings us to Congo. The problem of Congo is like the problem of South Sudan. Tshisekedi once said one Congo, but there are forces that don't want one Congo. So if you mix these two in one bottle, there will always be an explosion. That's why Samia Suluhu says mimi siwezi kukaa kwa meza na wale watu wenyewe ndio wanapatia wale bunduki. How do you give your delegation, West taxpayer, Tanzanian taxpayers' money, to send a delegation to sit in such a meeting when the rebels know who is giving them the guns? You brought the issue of Tanzania, of DRC Congo. When we first met Konyi said, our arms are given by Bashir. He put it on the table. And he even said, next week we are receiving a consignment. You can come and witness. That's, Miriam, that's openness. That's how you begin a negotiation. But in negotiations that are hidden, I'm telling you, the rebel comes here and eats food in a hotel. He sleeps in a forest. Now you have brought him here. He eats food in a hotel and goes to the nightclub to dance. Then he goes back to fight us. What the hell is this? They didn't tell the truth. Didn't I tell you that this meeting is not, they are not, until they tell who is supplying them the arms. Who is supplying the M23 the arms?
Rwanda has been accused.
Then why don't we come out openly and say it is the one?
Because you know
everybody fears this tall guy.
Because the M23 apparently are supporting and fighting for
my friend.
For the Tutsis, and the FDLR, also another rebel group there,
is fighting the Rwandese.
The DRC is accused of using it to fight,
Rwanda. So we have bad blood already.
Hutus. So the Nyamulenges and also the
versus the Hutu, FDR,
have been caught up in this.
Yes, and they are on a territory. Either we get it or we don't get it. If we are not careful, we might bring a hazard.
It's a lot.
It is.
But it has to start, like what you've said, Doc, it has to start with some level of honesty. If at all, even these talks that have been brokered by Kenya have to bear any fruits, there has to be some level of accountability. Who is supplying you with arms? And what are the issues actually you're fighting for? So if that is not solved at the base level and with some level of honesty, then the rest will just be a waste of time.
Say it again. Sema.
Yeah, they have to stop going around the issues.
Yes.
And go to the core of the issue.
Exactly. Say
and
it again.
And start from there so that we don't end up with another South Sudan.
My daughter, say it again.
We don't end up with another South Sudan where keep going round.
And the next time when these rebels come, Your Excellency President, call me. I know all of them, how they get their arms.
They're here. The talks are ongoing. Only M23 has not been invited.
Yeah, we know how they are telling a lie. These guys. If you want to do proper negotiations, let the rebel tell you who gives them the arms. Before we start down with Konyi, we asked him that, do you want us to come back here or not? He said, this group here, don't ever come here. From now onwards, listen to what he said. From now onwards, it's only Matanga who should, and the delegation here. The rest don't ever try here. And by the way, you are lucky. I wanted to arrest you and shoot you. That's what Konyi said. To shoot the whole former delegation. The people who said they were taking me there, I pleaded for them now. Say, hey. Chisano and Riak and other the Chikwete's foreign minister, they are waiting 40 miles away. Please, don't do this. We battled there. Even the tears came out. I had to cry tears to say, you have seen your mother, Me, I have not seen my mother for 23 years. Your mother was brought last week by M7 helicopter. Mine, I have never seen her. Since 1985, July 27, it's Saturday, 10 o'clock. My mom has suffered. And now you are telling me you want to kill these people? I said, number Achel. Number Achel. Achel, no. Then he looked at me and said, anyway, you are older than me now. Decision done. Let them stay there. Go. That's how I saved these guys. Ayena, Martin, and Dr. Obita. And another guy. They were going to be shot. Firing squad. And they put it their time like that. Then he said, now, let's begin business. The only person who came here who is prepared for peace talks is you. Do you know what I went with? 12 files. From 1985, I've been collecting my briefcase. Poop. I'll bring you those photographs and you see. Briefcase, poured it on. And as in a top, then the guy said, this guy is organized. That is, he said, from now onwards, telephone, call Kisano. Now, call Riak. From now onwards, the whole world, BBC, CNN, this is the chief mediator, our chairman of the delegation, nobody else. Because he's the only one who is not corrupt. These guys have been eating my money. Hey, the whole camp was in tenterhooks. So rebels who come and they don't give you the source of their money. And then you release them to go and they start fighting. Why don't we use the same force? Turn on them, smash them, and see where they run to. We are playing with Congo the way we are playing with Al-Shabaab. We know where they live.
But at least Al-Shabaab, we know it's just one target. Here you have over 120.
Yeah, but we know where Al-Shabaab kills people, then runs to Eritrea. So if we want to kill Al-Shabaab, kill Eritrea, fires Esaki, hammer him with drone. Don't kill Eritreans. Send the drone.
Where will you get him? He hardly travels.
No, the drone knows where he is. Anamandi Polo Onyango's Anamandi aircraft.
Well, I'm assuming where he is, it's highly fortified.
Even if it is fortified, Gaddafi was fortified, but you remember the American stealth planes, those that come without you knowing they are there. Wanakuona. They hit, they send the most that can blow 20 kilometers down the soil. How will you hide? They don't, you see, they are forcing us on the war in the Ukraine. But they don't want us to finish our war in Africa. They know the man. Okay, Al-Shabaab, after killing people, where does it go? Where does Al-Shabaab get those good new uniforms? Miriam, you tell me, any African listening to me today, where do they get these new uniforms? And some of the uniform resemble Saudi Arabia.
It has been accused of supplying
military. So what do they want to do to us in Africa?
So when it comes to Saudi Arabia, it is the supremacy battle in the Middle East between Saudi Arabia and Qatar and the UAE. So it is multifaceted, the Al-Shabaab war and extremism in Somalia.
And now we are sending it, we are building it. Slowly, we are building in Bunyaganya. Bunyaganya border crossing, sijui where. The Ugandan troops went in to dislodge ADF. Good job done. You have finished your targets. But as you finish, a behind row proxy, we call it in the army, there is a behind proxy fight. A proxy fight that as you are finishing that one, you tell the friendly country, start another one so that we don't leave. Yeah, it's simply that. I'm not involved in those negotiations, but if people asked me, they will get quite a lot of information that could help the peace process either to be cancelled or to start. Me, Kagame is my best friend. I have nothing he has ever done to me. I can't condemn him anywhere. Because whenever we meet, he stops and says how is exile life. It's very bad. And I say, but Your Excellency, I don't need to ask. You know how to pay rent here. And you will see, you will give somebody something, however little it is, and I'm happy. But when he does things, I'm honest. There are people there whom I know, whom I can pick a phone and say, hapo mnaenda too much. And then they ask, do you want us to tell the boss? They say, mwambia Matanga alisema. Then anacheka anasema Matanga. You know? That's how at times I've survived these guys. When Museveni is squeezing people too much there, at times I say, there's a man I always talk to. I say, go and tell him. Hii kitu ya kufunga Besigye huko, fanya atoke. You can allow Besigye to walk the town. You can eat matoke. They don't demonstrate. If you are thinking Ugandans are going to demonstrate following you, by the time you reach the city square, behind you will be alone. Because they have eaten matoke, entula, binyebwa, bijanjalo, cassava, mongo, lumonde. They can't follow you in demonstration. So Mr. Besigye, next time, learn lesson from some of us who are called cowards. We live longer. And that's why it is only on this television, it is you. The only problem that I've told you, which I have between me and His Excellency President Museveni, is my money. If he doesn't pay, it's all right. If he pays, it's again all right. I am not putting a condition like a Ruto to say, let 70% in your party ministry. Where will they get 70% vote? You see? Have you seen the picture of a man who is annoyed? Look at the picture. Lastly, as we leave, this is the picture. Can you bring that picture of a man who wants to rule Kenyans?
The front page of the
front page of the Monitor.
Daily Nation.
And people going to eat food or what? Production team. Later your picture one. Watch out. This is a very angry man. Very angry. Does he have sleep?
He's worried over his 1 million votes that are, according to him, have been transferred.
No, up there. Magnify the other one. That picture there of Ruto. You can see who moved my cheese. Cheese mimekulwa.
There's a book titled, I have it, Who Moved My Cheese. So
perhaps you should volunteer to. That is the guy. Look at how annoyed he is. How can you address diplomats as if you're addressing them from your Songoi market. Aye, like that.
DP is a worried man. Okay. So that is where we end our show today.
Thank you, Miriam.
It's 1 p.m. East African time. Thank you so much for your company. Of course, Jeff and Gladwell were here, but they left a bit early. So thank you, those two, for being with us today, the extended version of Unfiltered. We were looking at some of the news that has made headlines over the week, and of course a lot of them are developing stories, so that's why even they have been featured largely in today's papers. So we'll see you on Sunday, God willing, 2 p.m. with another edition of Africa Showdown. From me, Miriam Ogoto. It's bye-bye from right now.
Thank you very much. I'm Dr. Matsang.